Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over both the early and main slate on DraftKings for Thursday, August the 2nd. There's a 3-game early slate today and a 9-game main slate. Yeah, 9-game main slate. I'll be covering both, talk about the 3-game early slate, the plays that I like, the 5 guys, and why I chose these guys. As you can see, I've already got them plugged in. Talk about why I chose these guys. Then we'll go over the main slate, do the same thing. We'll talk about stacks and BVP plays on both slates as well. But before we do get started, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. I would definitely appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, pitcher on this 3-game early slate is really gross. The 2 options I see clearly are Andrew Heaney and Miles Mikolas. I really don't want to play anyone else besides these 2 guys. If you're playing on FanDuel, I would say my favorite option is probably Heaney. Honestly, you could, based on pricing, I would say go Heaney, but if like Mikolas is like gets you more savings, if he's cheaper, I don't know if we're really going to need the savings on this slate, but if you want to, or I'll see, I can actually pull up FanDuel pricing here. Let's see, 3-game early slate, Heaney's $9K on FanDuel, Mikolas 7-8, so yeah, it probably makes sense to play Mikolas since you get those savings. If you wanted to do that, you could play Heaney as well. I feel like we're not really going to need savings today. The White Sox are the team we're definitely going to want to stack when it comes to bats, and at least on DraftKings, their bats are relatively cheap. But yeah, Heaney and Mikolas are definitely the 2 pitchers I want. Just talking about the other options like Brad Keller, I'm not going to play versus the White Sox. I actually like the White Sox as a stack. They're definitely the top stack on this early slate in my opinion. Cinzantella, I just don't think has any upside, and at 6,600, I don't want to play him. Ronaldo Lopez would be the one guy I think you could play if you're really just trying to go contrarian in GPPs. If you want to get away from the chalk that's going to be Heaney and Mikolas, then you could play Ronaldo Lopez, but he's a risky play. You never know what you're going to get from Lopez. He definitely walks guys, just really pitches deep, or not pitches deep, but like gets deep into innings, throws a lot of pitches in the inning, just kind of hurts himself, just gets deep into counts and struggles to throw strikes sometimes. So I'm not sure if I would go with Lopez, but like I said, if you're going contrarian and you just want to get different, then I think Lopez would be the guy you use. But I like Heaney versus the Rays. I think there's upside there. Mikolas versus the Rockies. Outside of Coors Field, I think there's upside there. Really, just Heaney and Mikolas I'm just playing because the other options are not good at all. So yeah, now we'll talk about the bats. It's all White Sox for me when it comes to bats today. Moncada, Sanchez, Palka, I like them versus Brad Keller. The White Sox do have a 5.1 implied run total. We want all the lefties from the White Sox. Even the righties I think are in play as well. But Moncada, Sanchez, Palka, Garcia, those are kind of the guys I'm looking to. Lurie Garcia, that is. But obviously Abreu has power. Avisel Garcia has power. Even though they're not getting the platoon split, you could still play those guys. But I am focused on the lefties, and those are the kind of the bats I really want. That's really it for this early slate. There isn't really much to talk about. It's just a 3-game slate. I think you could like stack the Cardinals if you're trying to get different, because the White Sox are definitely going to be highly owned. The Cardinals do have a 4.4 implied run total versus Cinzantella. We definitely see Cinzantella this year be very wild. Just you never know what you're going to get from him. He does have blow-up potential. And guys like Matt Carpenter, Paul DeJong, Ozuna, these guys have power that could definitely do some damage against Cinzantella. So I like the Cardinal stack as a contrarian way to get away from the chalk. But like cash games, I think you're playing Heaney, you're playing Mikolas, and then you definitely stack the White Sox. Just play a lot of White Sox in cash if you are playing cash on this 3-game slate. But yeah, that's it for stacks. I don't think there's any BVP. Yeah, there's 2 BVP plays. Sorry about that. 2 BVP plays against Ronaldo Lopez. Whit Merrifield gone 6 for 16 versus Lopez, and Salvador Perez has gone 5 for 14 with a home run. That's it for BVP on the early slate, and that's it for stacks. Those are my 5 plays. So we'll go ahead and talk about the 9-game night slate. Talk about the guys I like here. Pitching on the slate pretty deep for a 9-game slate. We've got Scherzer, Kershaw, Greinke, Foltynewicz, all options over 10K. Then you got Bumgarner, you got Nick Pivetta. You could also consider Mike Montgomery gets a matchup against the Padres. I think we're going to like him today. So definitely a loaded 9-game slate, at least when it comes to pitching options. Starting off at the top, though, with Scherzer. I love him here. Scherzer, we saw the dominance in his last start against the Marlins. Just came out and really performed well. Pitched 8 innings, only allowed 3 hits, 1 run, and that 1 run was not earned. Had 11 strikeouts, 41 DraftKings points. Scherzer, he's a good pitcher. He's the best pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball. I'd say Chris Sale's probably the best pitcher in baseball right now. But Scherzer's still great. I think Scherzer is a great play here. He has faced the Reds before this year and did put up 33.9 DK points, 10 strikeouts through 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, no runs. This Reds lineup, it's really not that good. Like 2 through 4 is pretty good with Jeanette, Votto, and Suarez. But guys like Mason Williams, Tucker Barnhart, Preston Tucker, the pitcher, Billy Hamilton, I'm not scared of those guys. There's a lot of strikeouts in the bottom of that lineup. Just a 2.8 implied run total for the Reds. I think Scherzer is a great play here. He's a heavy favorite at minus 278. He definitely has the most upside out of all the pitchers going today, and he is the pitcher I want to pay up for. He's $13K, and I think that is a reasonable price. That's not too expensive. I can definitely stomach paying that price tag for Scherzer today, especially because I compare him with a cheap option, Mike Montgomery. Just $7K today gets a matchup against the Padres, which is a matchup we do like here. Mike Montgomery has not been good lately. He's really struggled, but he has had some tough matchups. This is a good matchup for him. Facing a Padres team that we know will strike out a lot. Just so many Ks in this lineup from top to bottom. It's a great spot for Montgomery. He's pitching in a pitcher's park, which you like to see as well in Wrigley Field. Just think Montgomery, a great play here, and he's cheap. He's $7K. He fits well with Max Scherzer if you do want to play Max. You can definitely, if you want to pivot off of Max and you want to go maybe Kershaw and Nick Pivetta as sort of a 2v2, you can decide from. I think I'd lean with the Scherzer-Montgomery pairing, but you could definitely go Kershaw and Pivetta for sort of the same price as Scherzer-Montgomery. You could go Greinke-Pivetta, because I do like Nick Pivetta today as an SP2. He gets the Marlins. He has faced the Marlins once this year, did really well against them. Nick Pivetta, we know, has a ton of upside, has a ton of strikeout potential. We've seen him be pretty boom or bust this year, but the upside is definitely there for Pivetta. He's probably one of my favorite SP2s if you're not playing Montgomery. But talking about the expensive options besides Scherzer, Kershaw gets a matchup against the Brewers at home. I do like Kershaw here. He is $1,400 cheaper than Max Scherzer. Don't know if that's enough savings for me because Max Scherzer just been on another level lately. I don't know if Kershaw really has the upside to sort of even get close to what Scherzer's probably going to do today. I think the guy that I would play if you were trying to get different, if you feel like you can get similar upside at a cheaper price, that's probably Mike Foltynewicz, honestly. If you're looking for a guy that could similarly score the same as Scherzer for cheaper, for me it's Folty. Folty has a lot of upside here versus the Mets, a lot of strikeout upside for Foltynewicz. This is a guy that has great swing and miss stuff, can get a ton of Ks. And there are Ks in this Mets lineup. This Mets lineup is just really bad top to bottom, just not a lot of power, guys that will strike out. I do like Foltynewicz here. If you're wanting to play him in tournaments, I think that makes a ton of sense today. I would definitely go with Max Scherzer in cash games, but for tournaments, you're making multiple lineups. Definitely try and get away from the Scherzer chalk and play Mike Foltynewicz, who has a lot of upside here versus the Mets. But yeah, other pitchers, if we want to look for cheaper options that we could consider, there's not a lot of value that I like today. King Felix is pitching at home against the Blue Jays, and he's cheap, $6,100. He could potentially be a really cheap value option you'd go to. Not sure if I really like him here, but with that price tag, if you wanted to fit in some expensive bats today, you could go with King Felix at $6,100. But I think I'd rather get up to Montgomery if you can find that $900. That's really it for pitcher. Up top, I'm really focused on Scherzer and Foltynewicz if I'm paying up. And then the mid-tier plays, I like Pivetta a lot here. I like Mike Montgomery as well. King Felix, if you're just trying to straight up punt, could definitely be an option at $6,100. But that's not really a play I'm very thrilled about. But yeah, that's it for pitcher. Moving on to bats. Starting off his second base, Jonathan Villar, I think, is a great value play today. He's $3,300, going to be playing for his new team, the Orioles, where it looks like he's going to be the everyday second baseman. He's going to be in the lineup just about every day. And Fantasy Labs has him in the projected lineup for the Orioles. He is projected at second versus Yovani Gallardo, who is a guy I definitely want to pick on today. This is going to be a game we want to look to for our bats, this Orioles-Rangers game. It's going to be played in Globe Life Park, where it's going to be very hot. Two bad pitchers in Cashner and Gallardo. I see a ton of runs scored here. There's a lot of value from these lineups, from the Orioles lineup especially, with Tim Beckham leading off at $3,800, Villar batting second, a guy that has upside. If he gets on base, can steal, has shown some decent power actually this year, and in that ballpark, the ball's going to carry. So Villar batting from his left side, very good as a lefty, $3,300, great value. Guys like Adam Jones, Trumbo, I think these guys are in play as well. But Villar, definitely a guy I want. Should be in the lineup. He got activated from the disabled list, so he should be playing today, and is a cheap option I like at second base for 3,300. And then my final two plays are both going to come from the Braves. I do love the Braves stack today versus Jason Vargas, especially the righties. Johan Camargo, a switch hitter, going to be batting from his right side. And Camargo has been very good from his right side. He's been very good against lefties this year. Has shown a lot of power versus lefties. I wish this game was being played in SunTrust, in Citi Field, not as good of a hitter's park. But this is still just such a good lineup, and it's such a bad pitcher. Jason Vargas is just not good. This Braves lineup has a lot of power. Acuna, Albies, Camargo down there batting sixth. Kurt Suzuki, if he's in the lineup, is definitely a catcher play that I really like today. Just love the Braves stack. I think it has a ton of upside here versus Vargas. Vargas is just not a good pitcher, and a lot of these Braves hitters very good versus lefties. Camargo being one of them, so I like him at third base for 4,100. And then lastly, Ronald Acuna Jr. I was on him a couple of days ago versus Wei Yin Chen. It worked out for us. He hit a homer off of Chen. I think we get a homer from Ronald Acuna today. I think he takes Vargas deep, and he is one of my favorite plays in the outfield at 4,600. If you want to play Acuna today, I think he's a great option. I feel like he might go sort of overlooked today because if we look at some of the expensive outfielders that you can pay up for on this slate, a lot of people are definitely going to go to like the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton, I would imagine, is going to be a lot higher owned than Acuna. A lot of people are probably going to play him. Sin-Soo Choo at home against Cashner at 4,900. A lot of people are going to be on Choo. Same with Joey Gallo, sort of the same price. Maybe even a guy like, I don't know, Adam Jones might come higher owned than Acuna. I feel like Acuna really going to go overlooked today, and I think he's definitely one of the top outfielders on this slate. If you can't pay up for like Betts or Martinez, love Acuna. Great play in the outfield, 4,600. One of my favorite plays on this slate overall. But yeah, guys, these are the 5 plays for tonight's 9-game slate. Max Scherzer, Mike Montgomery, Jonathan Villar, Johan Camargo, and Ronald Acuna Jr. Now we'll quickly talk about the stacks and BVP plays on this 9-game night slate before we get out of here. So talking about stacks, my favorite stack on this slate, especially just like overall exposure, I'm going to have a ton of exposure to the Braves today versus Jason Vargas. Probably going to have a lot of exposure to the Red Sox as well, especially versus Sabathia. I think guys like Mookie Betts, JD, if you can pay up for them, if you're fading Max and you fade Fulton-Evich, if you go with like a Pivetta, Montgomery lineup, you can definitely pay up for Red Sox bats. I'll probably be doing that in a tournament lineup, fading the top arms, paying up for the Red Sox, hoping they put up runs versus Sabathia. I think they can definitely do that. And obviously a game stack here in Globe Life Park, Rangers stack, Orioles stack, I think makes a ton of sense. Just getting hitters from both sides of that game. Definitely something I'm going to look to do today. But yeah, that's really it for stacks on this 9-game slate. Now talking about BVP, we do have a decent amount of BVP plays. I will cover all of them real quickly. Joey Votto gone 4 for 13 with a home run versus Max Scherzer. Mookie Betts 12 for 28 versus Sabathia. Sandy Leon 3 for 10 with a home run. And Steve Pearce 11 for 36 with 2 home runs versus Sabathia. Mark Trumbo 6 for 11 versus Gallardo. Matt Kemp 9 for 42 with 3 home runs versus Chassin. Jock Peterson 2 for 10 with a home run versus Chassin. And Cody Bellinger 4 for 10 with a home run. Christian Yelich 7 for 14 with a home run versus Kershaw. Paul Goldschmidt 21 for 61 with 3 home runs versus Bumgarner. AJ Pollock 15 for 55 with 3 home runs versus Bumgarner. And lastly, Andrew McCutchen gone 9 for 33 with a home run versus Zach Greinke. But yeah, that's it for BVP, guys. That's it for stacks. I think that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it helped you. If you did enjoy the vid, just make sure you click that like button before you get out of here. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do subscribe to the channel down below before you get out of here. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And good luck tonight on the 3-game early slate and the 9-game main slate, guys. Peace.